Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to Deb Chanel's 48 World, where we do recaps and reviews on reality shows, soap operas, shopping hauls, and anything I deem necessary I want to review on my channel. Okay? But basically, what we're going to be doing today is going over the episode that aired today, May the 11th, which is Wednesday, 2016, of The Bold and the Beautiful. We're going to give a little summary here. And we have it as Ridge reprimands Katie for intruding in his business and causing a disturbance in his family. Still brooding over his family's company being controlled by Ridge, Rick renews his determination to take Forrester Creations back. So that's pretty much where the two things we were dealing with in today's episode. More or less of Rick. He was more so inquiring with his aunt Pam about some well, I don't know if it's his aunt. Let me see, how does that go? His father, well, I guess aunt-in-law. But anyway, Pam is telling a story about Baby Douglas and Ridge and Caroline and all of them being entwined together and Thomas taking the baby. So he's just going over a little information from her and trying to make the puzzles fit. But they don't quite fit at this moment. But that's a little bit back on him trying to be extra inquisitive about his dealings with the family as well as his dealings within the company arena. So that's basically what we're discussing. It's very little that he touches on today. But the big showdown was pretty much Thomas getting away to Big Bear with the baby and having Caroline come along so they can basically discuss the ideas of why wasn't he told when Baby Douglas was born, or at least a couple of weeks or a month at least, about him being the father. Why was it kept a secret? Because he's definitely not going to let his father raise his son when he's capable and dutifully can perform those responsibilities of his own child. He don't need his father's help. So I'm sure he's going to bring that way to the forefront and bring it out to the public's eye that indeed Ridge just, you know, created a scandal for his own self, and he's going to take the lead on his being taken up for his parental fatherly roles of Baby Douglas, and get that definitely straightened out with the courts with Ridge falsely assumed another child's a father identity of another child when his son was capable of doing that all along. So I don't know if any charges going to be brought in that aspect or not, but I think enough damage has been done on both Ridge's part as well as Thomas. They both need to separate. Personally, I feel Ridge needs to go back to Paris and do or be or wherever he wants to achieve out there versus in LA. But we go on right on into the first clip. We're at the Forrester Creations Company. We have Caroline and Ridge. Caroline is trying to call Thomas. He's not picking up his phone. She's freaking out totally. She just want to know why did she kidnap his baby. I'm like, okay, he might have, you know, basically didn't tell you, which is wrong, that he was taking his son. However, I do believe that he does have the right to take his son in and everywhere. And like again, I said he wasn't right for taking the baby and not telling anyone. However, they didn't tell him for the last, what, 3 or 5 months. So I guess a payback is a little due to them. I was all him for it. I was all him for it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I would have been tearing up things a lot more worse than what he did. He left discreetly and quietly. I would have been tearing up stuff. You know, my grandfather would have had to come in and say, well, no, his dad. But that came in and said, son, what the hell are you doing? Well, you know, and I would, you know, it would have been justification for me tearing up Ridge's office, which is, you know, considered the CEO, president's office and all that. But I've been tearing up everything in there, breaking out windows, you know, not with the baby being there, but I would have showed my daddy. No, that wouldn't, yeah, that Thomas, this is dad. I would show my daddy, and I would have been telling my granddaddy that this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And give Rick, your son, biologically and is heir to the throne. Stop taking that title away from him. Not my dad on out of there. Put your son in there and let him run it. Okay, let him run it, granddaddy. But anyway, and then come to find out, let me see. Okay, yeah, he would. Wait a minute, hold up. Let me see. That's really not even his granddaddy because okay, Taylor married Ridge. Ridge is not. So see, he has no real. See, the dynamics is just it's fruitless. I tell you, it's totally fruitless. Why is Ridge here with his children? Why is Steffi in the picture? Why is Thomas in the picture? Why is Ridge in the picture? I mean, it's just, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. So I'm just going to come on out that driveway and just say he had justification to kidnap his child since they basically didn't let him know anything for 3 to 5 months. Because I'm thinking the baby's about 3 months or 5 months. Help me out. Let me know what y'all think. I'm thinking about maybe 3 months. But anyway, to each his own, but that's my take on it. I would have been taking him too. And I ain't know my baby for 3 months and y'all been hiding all this mess. Child, please. Anyway. Then we go on to, you know, like I said, both of them was freaking out. It was more so Caroline than anybody. Thomas, he was still, they showed us a scene with him riding down LA's traffic, but he was on his way. We didn't know yesterday where he was going, but he informed us today he was on heading to the Big Bear. Oh, excuse me. That little cabin they have off tucked away in the woods. He's going up to the Big Bear and call himself relieving some tension, some stress, and it just clear his head on some issues. He's remembering some good and bad things that his daddy had spoke with him, and while he was in the office, and he was getting a 411 on who he was to Douglas in real time, real life. And it's just sitting bad with him. So I'm glad he got there safe. I'm glad there was no accident and this, that, and that. And the baby died because there really been some mess then. But I'm glad all of them but him and baby Douglas got there safe. We go to Rick and Maya. Both are talking about the information on Julius and Sasha and the love triangle and the child that was brought out of his infidelity with Sasha's mom, Lucy. And then Rick is telling him that, hey, all families have secrets. He thought his family just kept secrets, you know. But then he had brought up to Maya that Stephanie had an affair on his father with Massimo, which is really Ridge's real biological father. But since, you know, he had raised Ridge all up to this time as being a grown man, he felt that, hey, he don't raise him this long, he might well just, you know, let status quo be have, you know, let have. So I was with him to a certain degree, but, you know, when you come looking at the biological thing and an heir to a fortune, a business, apparel company such as theirs are, yes, Rich did do a lot. You know, it's a monetary value you have to look at, and you just pay him out of what designs he basically gave to the company from when he started designing for Forrester Creations, and you pay him out that way if that's possible. And then you give the rightly heir to his throne. You know, he wants to succeed. Every man wants his son, if he has one, to succeed him. If he's been a good and dutiful, trustworthy son. Then, and Rick he hadn't done anything bad. Told the line and everything. So I don't know what's wrong with Eric Forster. But after this scandal, there should not be anything else. I mean, really, Stephanie need to go work for her husband's family company. Child, please. She's no designer. I haven't really seen her do anything that makes her solidify and basically come into the company running it. I mean, where was her education? Where did she go to school? I mean, it's just too much. Okay, we're going to move from that situation because it's giving me a headache. Then we'll go to Caroline and Ridge. Caroline's still freaking out, like I said, and she said Thomas won't pick up the phone. She done called him several times, so Ridge thinks out the box. He calls him on his car cell phone. Thomas picks up for him, and he's asking him, do he have the baby with him? He's confirming, yes, he does. He's asking him why he took the baby. Of course, he gives some trivial reason. You know, it doesn't matter at this time. You know, he done had him for, like I said, 3 to 5 months. It's time for him to spend some alone time with him. So therefore, he says he don't want to talk to his father anymore. He wants to talk to Caroline. Of course, Ridge goes on to try to throw his weight around, and Thomas ain't feeling that no more. He like, Dad, it's fruitless words that's coming out your mouth. I don't trust you. I don't care for you. You're just like dust in the wind. Okay, and so he just says, I want to talk to Caroline. So he puts Caroline on the phone. Of course, she's like, where the baby, where this, where that, and pretty much she wanted to say, just calm down, all right? Because I ain't through with you yet either. But what I need you to do is to come to Big Bear. That's where I'm headed. Douglas is fine, but you and I need to have a talk alone. Do not bring anybody else with you, especially do not bring my dad. So, he hangs up the phone on her, and she's there looking at the receiver like, what have I unleashed, or what has just been, released on us? And so, we leave there. We go to Thomas and Maya. Thomas is still claiming revenge upon Ridge's head. Pam drops by or drops in, and she's letting them in on a little dirt that happened between Ridge, his son, baby Douglas, and Caroline. The mix up about who had the baby, and all this, that, and that. And it's just stirring interest up for Rick, and he's trying to find a little bit more, but Pam didn't have too much to give to him. She even went so far as to say that Ridge had called down to Charlie, asking him, in a very rudely manner, did he see Thomas with the baby and this, that, and that. And after he got the information, he just hung up. So it's just like, oh, okay, so why is Ridge jumping on poor Charlie, and why is he looking for Thomas and Thomas's little brother? Thomas is very capable of keeping a little info. He just got his little intuition going on, and his little brain is just, clicking and clanging up there. He's just trying to make it all fit, but he ain't got it together yet, but he's getting close. But anyway, we go back to Caroline and Ridge. Caroline is telling Ridge she's going to get their son to stay here. Don't call the police. Don't follow her. Just stay at the company, and she'll be back. We go to Thomas, and baby Douglas arrives finally at the cabin safely and sound, and awaiting Caroline to show up. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. We have Pam, Maya, and Rick. Pam is telling them, trying to be a little bit more transparent about the debacleness between Thomas, Caroline, and Ridge, and that Ridge called Charlie, to see if he's seen Thomas, and, all that kind of stuff, like I said before. And, Pam was pretty much putting it like in a panic type situation, and it just threw out Rick all up, just threw him off the kill. So he's trying to figure it all out, but that's for another day, Rick. We move on from there. We go to Ridge and Katie. Ridge is getting on Katie because she comes in because she hears about, Thomas taking a baby, and, all, without telling anybody. She's just concerned, and she's asking did she call the police, did you do this, that, and the other. I'm like, Katie, why would he call the police on his son, kidnapping his own son? Does that make sense? Nut? But anyway, she kind of just lost her bearings for a minute. She had to get herself collected and get cool with the situation, because that is her nephew she's talking about. That is her nephew and his son traveling. They didn't say he was in no heated or, in a bad way when it came to his behavior or his demeanor when he left. He was cool, calm, and collected. He was fine. He was glad to know that that child was his, because he had grown real fond of him. And, he thought it was very unnatural with that just being his sibling. But, now he understands the feelings that he was sensing and going through, because that's his child. Of course, you're going to have those feelings. Mothers have them all the time, so why shouldn't fathers? Okay. So we move on from there. Like I said, we go back to Thomas. He's there looking at baby Douglas. He's put him in his carrier still, but he placed him on the bed, and he's watching him sleep. He's remembering all the good times with bringing baby Douglas in the world, going to his checkups with Caroline when his dad couldn't be there with her, or when they broke up, he was there with her, going through some maternal type issues while she was carrying baby Douglas. So he's just remembering all that. He got a little smile on his face and all like that. And finally, without him knowing, Caroline knocks on the door. She comes in the door, and she's just asking, where Douglas, where Douglas, where Douglas? And she finds and sees him. Once she gets her hands on him or just near him, she starts to calm down. She stops panicking, and she starts to put things in perspective. And then she makes herself I guess, looks like a fool because you're like, why would he hurt him? That's his child. You know, why would he, that's part of him. Thomas is not an evil, destructive type of guy, so why would you assume the worst? You should assume the worst from Ridge. He's the one that has no Forrester blood running through him. He has Douglas's blood because that's his mother's maiden name, and her matriarch blood, but he has no Forrester, sweetheart. He has no Forrester blood running through his veins. Anyway, she's just very relieved. You tell she's been crying. She's been disturbed, but now the jig is up. She's going to have to pay the piper. She's going to have to answer some questions that I'm sure Thomas has already set up for her. We go to commercial. We come back for commercial. We go back to Ridge and Katie. Ridge is telling Katie, Thomas took the baby to Big Bear. Katie is saying, and, did you really not expect for him to not have some feelings for the baby after he found out that it was his? Did you not think that he would strike out like this? Well, maybe not particularly like this, but he does have a right, and it is a shock to him at this time. So, yeah, his behavior is not right, but it's warranted. Okay, so then we go to Carolina Thomas. Carolina tells Thomas, you should not have done what you did. You shouldn't have taken him without telling someone, and especially me. And Thomas is asking Caroline, how could she let him believe that Douglas was his brother when good and well her knowing that he was the father? So I'm like, all right then, throw it back on her, honey. Throw it back on her. But basically, they both come to grips that they both did wrong. Thomas tells Caroline, don't ask him to deny his son, because to keep their little lie going and the scandal from coming out publicly, because it doesn't feel right, and he's not going to do it. But he does ask her, what do you really feel about that? Do you really want me to deny my son and let my daddy take the role as being Douglas's father? Do you really? Does that sit well with you? Of course, she's just crying, and she looks at him with loving eyes, tearful eyes. But it is what it is. Thomas, stop playing games. You finally got the knowledge that you are aware that this is your son, and then you acting stupid. No, it doesn't have anything to do with what Caroline wants. It has everything to do with what you feel. I mean, y'all can go into joint custody where she doesn't have sole custody of this child, and you just mark Ridge on out the door. He is nothing to be concerned about. This episode really got under my skin, because I'm like, you can't play one way with your dad, and then you're gonna play all mushy willy-nilly with your baby mama. No, you can't do that. You got to have that same adrenaline, that same passion and compassion, because this needs to be solved and dealt with through the courts. You definitely need to change the baby's name. Let me see, Forrester. See, it's a messy situation, because I'm like, okay, women, it's Ridge is a Forrester only because it's that his stepdad put it that way, but biologically he's not a Forrester at all. But we don't let that fly, just for namesake and just reality TV. Okay, so but he needs to change him on the birth certificate from Ridge Forrester to Thomas Forrester, because that's legal. Now what Caroline does with his father, that's her choice, but out of the line he asked her to do, and just what he put her through, I couldn't be married. But today ain't married either, because that's another whole issue too. There's no license filed in the court system of them being married. See if I'm saying, Rich just need to go on back. He just got to go on back to Europe. He just need to go on back. I'm just tired of him. Okay, I can't do it anymore on this story, because it's just too... It's insane is what it is. I cannot believe someone in reality would have a storyline such as this. So we're just going to just chalk it up for this was today's episode. It was confusing as hell when you try to make sense out of it. There's no sense to be made. But he just knew to do the right thing. Get on paper that he's Douglas's father. I think that's a fitting name. That is his grandmother's, of his father's mother. So we got that straight. So it's very fitting, and that's fine if they want to keep up, the bloodline running from the Douglas side. Then that's cool. But anyway, that was my take on The Bold and the Beautiful for Wednesday, May 11th, 2016. I hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it, and I got my entertainment life as as so. Yes, it was. He gave me a little life. I like to see Thomas standing up for himself finally as a grown young adult instead of being, all umpled down to his daddy when he know his dad has done wrong. You can't reward and appreciate and bag somebody who's wrong. So hopefully he'll come back with this scene that I did see in some of my visual clippings that I get the visual aid for you all throughout my videos. I see him getting ready to punch his dad, Ridge, and Ridge is floating a black eye. So good kudos, Thomas, if that was you. I'm not saying I condone violence, but under these circumstances, what Ridge was trying to do, I would have did a lot worse. But anyway, that is for today. I hope you enjoyed. Come back tomorrow, and God willing, hope to have that next episode for y'all to preview, and have many blessings bestowed upon you all, and have a very nice evening. Okay, see you later. Bye bye.